They liked the balance that they had in race.
Casey Kane, we congratulate him, his third career pole.
It's all three Hendrick Motorsports in the front.
There's a few movers and shakers out there.
Carl Edwards free falling for a couple to victory lane is Joey Logano.
Get the inside line on who's fast and who's last before setting your NASCAR fantasy race team lineup this weekend. This is the Inside Line on MRN.com. Presented by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your fantasy experts, Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
Welcome to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. This is the Irish Hills version of the Inside Line as we head to Michigan this weekend.
And neither of us are wearing green.
That's just something that I don't do. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
See, I'm an Irish fan.
Mm-hmm.
And we just don't believe that there's like luck. And well, yes, I guess we do. That's a lie. Go Irish next week, right? Labor Day weekend.
South Carolina's first game is next Thursday night, so looking forward to that.
We play Texas sometime.
We play Vanderbilt next Thursday.
I remember we went to Darlington last year, and you guys lost your. Well,
we won that game. We won that game.
You won your first game against one of the best teams in the country, and then you went and lost to Citadel.
We lost a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And North Carolina went undefeated the rest of the year when they Anyways, this is supposed to be racing.
NASCAR.
We're heading to Michigan after a pretty decent performance by Kevin Harvick at Bristol. Your thoughts on the Bristol weekend?
I thought it was a very strange weekend from beginning to end, and it started last Wednesday, basically. So between the truck race, there was rain there. Friday, there was rain. Saturday, obviously, there was rain. Sunday, there was rain. But you know what? Kevin Harvick, he proved me wrong, and I've been talking about the 4 team for a long time this summer, and I needed them to show me something before the chase started to consider them a threat to win the championship. And they did. And now, granted, Kyle Busch was the dominant car on Sunday. He had a mechanical problem, then got crashed. But Kevin Harvick was right place, right time, and that's how we won the championship in 2014, was being at the right place at the right time. So I think this team is better than what I thought it was. Obviously, they went to victory lane last Sunday. Let's go to the chase for those guys.
Yeah, Harvick won Phoenix in 2014. Then he won Darlington, which was earlier in the year. And then he went on a tear of, well, not a tear. He struggled until we got to Charlotte in the chase where he won the race, and then he went on a tear, winning the championship.
Yeah.
Seems sort of similar to what you're looking at now. He won at Phoenix, struggled throughout the year. I wouldn't say struggled. I mean, he finished in the top 5, top 10 most races, but then, of course, winning at Bristol. I think he's going to be good this weekend as well, one of his better racetracks.
Yeah, and that was only the 6th win this season for Chevrolet, which is the fewest through 23 races since 2008. They won 5 races through 23 races in 2008, which was odd because the year before that they had won 17 races through 23 races in 2007.
Interesting. So we'll have Kim Coon on the show today, which should be fun to talk to her as she's going to Michigan this weekend. She will chat with Austin Dillon and the NASCAR Live pre-race show, and Austin has been very, very good. A top 5 run last week at Bristol, and heading to Michigan where he has been pretty good. I mean, he finished 8th the last time we were there. He's had some pretty good numbers there, so Austin Dillon will be our pre-race guest. Also, next week we will be having STP week, which is going to be fun, an STP throwback week heading to Darlington. STP Ultra Clean, Ultra Performance, Ultra Protection, STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner, their most advanced formula, STP in for the long haul. We'll be promoting all sorts of throwback, themes throughout the week. We might even have something on our show, but going throughout the week, NASCAR Live, Motorsports Monday, you'll see a bunch of throwback stuff heading into Darlington. So we're going to take one break. We'll be back to talk more fantasy racing here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show.
Tyler and Robbie will be right back to talk more fantasy racing here on the Inside Line.
O'Reilly. Has the summer heat taken a toll on your vehicle's battery? Count on O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. For a limited time, purchase a Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum battery and get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card by mail. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Victory Junction was young race driver Adam Petty's dream. He worked toward building a camp where children with serious medical conditions could concentrate on fun and not their illness or disease. When he died tragically, his family and friends around NASCAR made sure that dream came true. Today, Victory Junction is a camp that provides fun, life-changing experiences to children dealing with illnesses and disabilities, all at no cost to the camper. Help us serve more children by visiting victoryjunction.org.
Motor Racing Network has a way for you to reach out and express your thoughts and opinions on NASCAR. It's the MRN Fan Forum Hotline.
Just wondering what's the first thing you tend to
I was curious about those new rules from what I heard.
Call in 844-4-ASK-MRN. Got a question or comment for a driver or MRN personality? 844-4-ASK-MRN.
You guys keep it on. Listen to you guys next
It's
weekend.
the Fan Forum Hotline, your connection to the sport of NASCAR.
Let's talk more fantasy racing on The Inside Line. Here's Robbie and Tyler.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. This is Robbie Mays. I'm Tyler Burnett. We're here to talk fantasy racing as we do each and every week. We're heading to Michigan this weekend where we see this lower, well, we'll just call it an L2 package because it's a lower downforce package, probably the package of the future as far as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the rules package, and it's the exact same package as the spring, right?
Yeah, everything is the same from the spring race. We also ran it at Kentucky, I believe.
Yes.
And we ran a similar version in the All-Star race. The common theme between those four events, the two Michigans, Kentucky, and the All-Star race, was Team Penske was in victory lane each of those races. And I'll lead it off with Joey Logano. I've got him again this week. 7 straight top 10 finishes at Michigan, the longest current streak of anyone in the Sprint Cup Series. He's also got 2 wins during that stretch, August of 2013, and of course he won this race back in June. 15 starts, 10 top 10 finishes, and his average is a 12.8. He has the 6th highest driver rating. I like Joey at Michigan because this is a wide open, fast racetrack, and that's the kind of track that he excels at. And you know, given the opportunities in June to lead a bunch of laps, I think he has the same opportunity to do that again this weekend. So I've got Joey Logano on my team. I wanted his teammate Brad Keselowski as well, but the money was just too much for him.
Yeah, he led 138 laps in the spring, which is a lot at Michigan. I don't know if you said this already, but he has 7 straight top 10s at Michigan. I think you already said that.
Yeah, he's got 7 straight, and Keselowski has 5 straight top 10s.
So not only are they good with the low downforce package, we're talking about Team Penske right now, they are good at Michigan. And then they probably have some of the best numbers at Michigan in general. So Joey Logano is also on my team. And I am in the same boat as you. I can't afford Brad Keselowski because I need to have someone else on my team, and I will get to that in a moment. But Joey Logano is on my team. The someone else that I'm talking about that I think everyone should have on their team, and Robbie Mays does not have him on his team, and that's Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is, not only is did he win last week, which Bristol is completely different, I know that, but the races that we have seen with this lower downforce package, he has been really good. He's also very good at Michigan, and if I'm looking at the numbers right now, I think he has 5 second-place finishes in the last 7 races at Michigan.
Yeah.
That is hard to do. Well, first off, it's hard to finish second that many times without winning a race.
That's true.
But it's also it's hard to finish on the podium that many straight races. Kevin Harvick is very, very good at Michigan. He must be a guy that you think about, especially if he's good in practice.
Yeah, and he finished 5th back in June. I just couldn't afford him. The same boat as Brad Keselowski. So I like the Kevin Harvick choice. He's just not going to be on my team this week. Carl Edwards is going to be on my team this week. Back-to-back 6th-place finishes at Michigan. Made his first Sprint Cup Series start here in this race back in 2004, and he finished 10th. I wanted a Gibbs car, and he was the best one with his record that I could afford. If you look at Kyle Busch, not very good at Michigan. Matt Kenseth wasn't great in June, so I'm not gonna pick him, and I feel like there are better options than Denny Hamlin. So as far as it goes, Carl Edwards with 17 top 10 finishes in 24 starts at Michigan, so I definitely like the 19 this weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to see that Gibbs did not do well at Michigan the last time we were there. I mean, if you look at their numbers, Matt Kenseth 14th, Carl Edwards was 6th. If you put Martin Truex Jr. in the Gibbs, contingent as far as Furniture Row Racing being an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, Truex was 12th. I believe Kyle Busch struggled as well, and I have to go all the way to the bottom of the list. Yeah, he did. He finished last.
Yeah.
In Michigan.
Had that engine problem.
Kyle Busch was on my team for cheap. I mean, he was $1.25 cheaper than what he cost.
Yeah.
I dropped him for Kevin Harvick this week because I think Kyle Busch could potentially struggle, though he might go out there and now that I said that, and lead every single lap of the race. But Joe Gibbs Racing did, for lack of the better terms, struggle at Michigan the last time we were there. So I think that going a different route as far as Team Penske or maybe Chip Ganassi Racing, where I'm about to go next, the third guy on my team is Kyle Larson. The pick that I probably like the most this weekend, he finished third at Michigan. He's going to be probably driving angry after what happened in Bristol because, in my opinion, he had a top 5 car, maybe even a podium car at Bristol last week. So Kyle Larson needs to win a race, and I came this close, I'll tell you right now, to picking him as my winner this week because I think he's going to be driving very mad.
If Kyle Larson misses the chase this year, he can point to 2 races because of it. Last week at Bristol and Watkins Glen.
Yes.
Those 2 opportunities to finish in the top 5, and he lost both opportunities towards the end of the race.
But he still has a chance. I mean, he's good at Darlington.
Sure, he's got a chance, but if he misses, he can look back at those 2 races and say, this is where it happened. Michigan in 2013, his rookie season, or 2014, this was the race that caused him to miss the chase because he was leading the race, blew a tire, and finished like 39th or something.
I think he was already out of it come Bristol time. I mean, he didn't lose tons of points. There were other races that he had lost at, and Watkins Glen, you're right, is one of them, and he probably blamed A.J. Allmendinger for that.
Yeah.
But anyways, Kyle Larson has a very real chance to win this race this weekend, in my opinion. Do you agree with that?
I think he's got a shot to finish in the top 5. I don't know about winning the race.
You don't think so?
I think he's got to beat a bunch of other guys to be able to do that. Third on my list this week, again, is Tony Stewart. And last week, you can't predict mechanical failures. I think he's still a good option. Finished 7th in this race back in June. 1 win in 33 starts. He has the 8th highest driver rating as well. So I like Tony Stewart this weekend.
I don't know what the heck was going on with him last week. Before he had the mechanical failures, he was still 30th or something. And I was expecting him to be a lot better than that.
I think the rain last week threw a bunch of guys for a loop, so I think he was included in that. I've got another Chevrolet. Austin Dillon is on my team. Back-to-back top 10 finishes at Michigan. 4th in August last year, 8th in this race back in June. 2 top 10s and 8 starts, so I like Austin Dillon this weekend as well. And Chris Buescher. If you don't have Chris Buescher, he is going up in price. He's up $4.25 over the last couple of weeks. If you got him, good for you. But if you do have him, keep him locked in at the price you've got him for right now.
Yeah, and Roush Yates told us in Watkins Glen that Chris Buescher is getting now the same equipment as Roush Fenway Racing.
Yeah.
So, perceivably, it's like a backup car for Greg Biffle, basically. But similar equipment, and we saw it last week at Bristol, that Chris Buescher can run just as good as any of those Roush Fenway guys right now.
He was running better than any of those Roush Fenway guys last week, except for Ricky Stenhouse.
He finished 2nd. And that was a great run for Ricky in the Brian Clausen tribute scheme, which I thought was really cool. I have Tony Stewart on my team, even though he disappointed me a lot last week, but I still have him $3 cheaper than what he cost. And like you said, he finished 7th at Michigan. He was actually really good. He was a top 5 car at Michigan, in my opinion, and I think he will be again this week. Matt DiBenedetto is also on my team. He's up a lot in points, too. So the 83, Joey Logano, the 22, Kyle Larson, the 42, which I like, Tony Stewart, the 14, and then, of course, a guy I think you must have this week is Kevin Harvick.
And I've got Joey Logano, Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart, Austin Dillon, and Chris Buescher.
Kim Coon is on the line. We'll talk to her in a little bit. You're watching the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
We'll be right back in just a moment to talk more fantasy racing with Tyler and Robbie here on the Inside Line.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Race fans, you know there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience.
Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, check out Sling and Dirt with David and Ashley Strim. They talk with dirt late model, dirt modified, and UMP modified drivers from all over America. Join David and Ashley on MRN.com, the MRN app, and YouTube as they give you the news, results, and their opinions of dirt track racing. Plus interviews with the biggest race winners and newsmakers from New York to California and all dirt tracks in between. Sling and Dirt Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, the MRN app, and MRN.com. We now return to the Inside Line with Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
We hope you join our friends at the Michigan International Speedway this weekend for racing on Saturday and on Sunday. mispeedway.com to purchase tickets. Would be Robbie, you need to go purchase your tickets. Even though you got a hard card, but
I do. I love that track.
Anyways,
Kim Coon's on the phone. Let's talk to her.
Yeah, she is. Hi, Kimmy.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
You ready for Michigan this weekend?
Heck yes.
Wow.
It's throttled down until the end of the season, pretty much.
Yes, it is. When's the next week you get off?
Charlotte weekend.
Wow.
If you even consider that. Yeah.
I'm getting married the week before that.
Lucky you.
And then I'm going to the Notre Dame game that weekend in Raleigh. But anyways, I thought we had Kimmy on to talk about fantasy racing.
Well, we do. You were the one who took us off course. Kim, let's get back on track here. Kevin Harvick last week at Bristol won the race. I have been very critical of that team all season long. What do you make out of Kevin Harvick's summer so far, and looking forward to the chase? What do you think about the 4 team right now?
I think they are definitely a contender for the championship. You know, they won it in 2014. But this is only the second time we've seen them in victory lane this year, and I think, not to say that they didn't perform well in Bristol. Obviously, they had a car to beat, and then they ended up winning the race. But honestly, I think they ended up in victory lane because of all the other stuff we saw happen at Bristol. I think if we hadn't seen some of those late wrecks and some of the guys that got into trouble get into trouble, maybe Kevin wouldn't have been in victory lane. So again, if you look, not that he's been running terribly, but again, only his second win of the season, and his first win came early in the season. So not to say that they aren't a championship contender, but I don't know if he would have been in victory lane had other things happened at Bristol. But that's racing.
Yeah, I might go on a limb and say Kyle Busch would probably be in victory lane still. Party.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys you could have said that. I mean, Blaney had a super fast car.
Yeah, he did.
He got into a bit of bad luck getting into Matt Kenseth when Matt got caught up in that wreck. Kurt Busch had a good car.
Mm-hmm.
He had some bad luck, too. There were a lot of guys, again, that I think maybe would have had a leg up on Harvick had they stayed in the race.
While we're talking about championships, right now, who do you think wins the championship if we're this early in the year? I mean, we still have the chase to go, but who do you think's the early favorite?
Oh, God, that's like an impossible question because you take
That's why I asked it.
I know, but you without even having started the chase, and then you have to think about elimination rounds, and I'm going to say Joey Logano.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that we've seen the same from him that we saw last season, but obviously he will be in the chase, and I think once the chase starts, that's when that team is just going to get locked and loaded, and you look atop the pit box, and you've got Todd Gordon, who's, in my opinion, maybe the smartest crew chief, at least one of the smartest crew chiefs out there. And so, he was a championship contender last season. And again, I think once we hit the ground running in Chicago, it's full speed ahead for the 22 team.
So obviously, Joey Logano is one of the favorites to win this weekend. Also, we've talked about Brad Keselowski on the show so far today as well. Who else would be your top picks to possibly put it in victory lane on Sunday in Michigan?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Brad. He was one of them. Because what I'm doing when we go into Michigan this weekend is we're looking at that lower downforce package. So instead of really focusing on guys that tend to historically run well at Michigan. I'm looking at the guys that have done well at the earlier Michigan this year and then Kentucky. So Brad, obviously one of them, the only driver to have finished in the top 5 at both of those lower downforce package races. And then Carl Edwards. The JGR cars are always strong. He's got 2 wins at Michigan. And then looking again at those 2 races where we've had this extra lower downforce package, he finished 6th and 2nd. So, and he always typically qualifies well, and I think we're going to see him, at the top of the board in qualifying, and then I think he's going to stay there for the race and possibly get to victory lane.
Yeah, he's really the only Gibbs car that ran well the last time we were at Michigan, and of course Carl finished 6th in that race, and then if you count Martin Truex Jr. as a Gibbs car, I guess you can. He's a Furniture Row Racing Alliance with Gibbs. He finished 12th, and Matt Kenseth was 14th, so 6th was the best finish for Gibbs. What do you make of any of the other Joe Gibbs Racing cars going to Michigan this weekend?
I just don't know. I think it's going to be hit or miss for Gibbs. I think you could have it where half the stable does well and the other half doesn't, especially if we're including Martin Truex Jr. He always seems to get into a bit of bad luck, and then, Kyle Busch, obviously, probably maybe the best driver out of all of them, but if you look at his Michigan record, he finished outside the top 10 the last 6 races at Michigan, including 5 out of the top 30. So Michigan is one of those that this team just wants to get through. So I wouldn't expect big things out of the 18. Again, hit or miss if you're looking at the 11. He's hot and cold. And then, Kenseth, I think possibly we could see something out of him this weekend. And obviously, Carl, he's my pick.
All right. So Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards. How about the rest of your team through the middle and then maybe a C pick at the end?
Yeah, Carl Larson, definitely a guy that's on my team this weekend. If they can put together an entire race and a smart race. He's had a string of bad luck, but I don't think that is indicative of his actual performances. If you look back here at June, we had a lot of young guns at the front, Logano winning, Chase Elliott 2nd, and then Kyle finished 3rd and was a contender for the win. He doesn't have the best record at Michigan, but again, I think if he can make a whole race out of it, that Kyle Larson is a guy to watch, especially if we see, multiple lines being run. He's a guy that can work around and find a groove that works for him. And then Trevor Bayne, and that's mainly because he sits 17th in points on the chase grid, 16 if you say Buescher doesn't get in. And so this team, I think, goes into Michigan and, the remaining 3 races before the chase, really having to make something out of these 3 races to get themselves onto the chase grid. He's coming off a 12th place at Bristol, so I think they're in a bit of a go zone where, again, they have to make something happen. So that's why I'm also watching Trevor.
I like the Trevor Bayne pick. He finished 15th here in June. Kim, real quick, who's your winner on Sunday?
Winner is going to be, I got to say, Brad Keselowski. I think he gets his first win at his home track this weekend.
I like it. He's been close here before.
Bye, Kimmy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Kim Coon, everyone, talking fantasy racing, and we're heading to Michigan. And I love having her on the show. She
That's great.
Brings some great insight to fantasy racing.
She takes a look at things from a different perspective than what you or I would. So
yeah, but it would be a lot better if she was in the studio. Then people wouldn't have to look at us.
Yeah. We
But
should just replace you with her. Let's
really
take a break.
Let's take a break. We'll be back finishing up the show here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show.
The Inside Line will return in just a moment.
O'Reilly. Has the summer heat taken a toll on your vehicle's battery? Count on O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. For a limited time, purchase a Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum battery and get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card by mail. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
You know, it's everybody just trying to say my last name. They just don't finish it.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
For the most part, our hearts were wagon makers.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
NASCAR races are all about world-class, high-performance vehicles, and that's not just limited to the race cars. Freightliner Cascadia haulers transport the race cars and equipment from track to track 38 weekends of the year, keeping your favorite drivers in the race season after season. And from the engine to the seats to the dash, Freightliner specifically engineers its vehicles to give truck drivers a reliable, comfortable ride. Learn more about Freightliner truck models at FreightlinerTrucks.com.
Now it's back to Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett on the Inside Line.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. We're going to Michigan this weekend, Darlington next weekend for the Bojangles Southern 500, and in 2 weeks we'll be at Richmond, the last race before the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. If you don't have your tickets for Richmond, go to RIR.com to purchase your tickets for Richmond September 9th and September the 10th.
Richmond is awesome. Remember that fan that climbed up onto the fence?
Yeah, don't do that.
Was that race last year, or was it
2 years ago?
Oh, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah. That guy must have been under a rock, which brings us to our favorite part of the show.
Do you live your life up under a rock, or are you Tyler Burnett?
I think we're 4-4.
Yeah, I'm
tied up at
you
4.
guys came on this show trying to defeat me, and currently I'm even.
Well, we're going to defeat you this week.
Yeah, you probably are, because you're picking harder ones every week.
This is a photograph. Just name anything that has to do with this photograph. Okay. So, Daryl, let's cue it up, and let's play Under a Rock or Tyler.
Well, it looks like a late night show.
Okay.
Is that right?
Name anything about that photo.
Okay, can I just guess what television network it was on?
That's fine.
Was it, I don't know, was it on ABC?
No.
It was a late night show, right?
That was a late night show. That was the Tonight Show. It was hosted by Johnny Carson, and Ed McMahon was also in the photograph.
So that was the late night show?
No, that was the Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show?
Yes, currently hosted by Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, yeah. See, I love Jimmy Fallon.
But he doesn't know who Johnny Carson is. All right.
I don't know who Johnny Carson is. How sad is that?
Rango.
I love that movie.
Didn't know who Johnny Carson was.
Do you know who Rango is?
Yes. Do you?
Well, yeah. He's a chicken that dropped him from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's see how good Rango's picks are this week, because they weren't good last week. Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, David Reagan, and Chris Buescher. He has two C picks at the end, because I'm sure that he wanted to afford Keselowski, Harvick, and Logano.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to have those three.
Yeah. So Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, his top three, then David Reagan and Chris Buescher. His winner is Brad Keselowski, which is also Kim Coon's pick, so apparently I can't make that pick either, because that was going to be my pick. And then Ford is his manufacturer.
So who is your winner?
My winner is going to be Kevin Harvick.
Okay.
I think I wanted to have Penske picks, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. I wanted Brad Keselowski, but everyone else is picking him. But Kevin Harvick, I think, is the next best option. So Kevin Harvick is my winner this weekend at the Michigan International Speedway.
Okay. I am going with Brad Keselowski's teammate, Joey Logano, to sweep the season at
Going out on a
Michigan.
limb.
And, yeah, okay, Joey Logano will sweep the weekend or sweep the season at Michigan International Speedway, which has been done before, had been done in a long time. So I like Joey Logano.
My next best option, and I was this close to picking him, is Kyle Larson. I just wanted to throw out some surprise pick. I don't know.
if you're looking for some different drivers this weekend, Richard Childress Racing is pretty good here. Paul Menard is pretty good. Ryan Newman pretty good here. And obviously I have Austin Dillon on my team. So that's also a surprise pick.
Sprint Cup Series practice is coming up shortly at noon Eastern Time, then followed by qualifying at 5 p.m. The second practice on Saturday, and then Sunday, of course, we're on at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Next week, where are we going?
Darlington.
STP Week. We'll see you then here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show.
You've been listening to The Inside Line, presented by Hercules Tires. Stream us every Friday on MotorRacingNetwork.com or on the MRN app. The Inside Line is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Inside Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.